Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV. Oh, my goodness, it's been such a long while. We've really missed everyone, and we're back here live and unrehearsed in the studio, right here at We Beam TV, and we're excited to share everything that we've been up to, well, sort of kind of in an outline form for this last year, year and a half, something like that. But thanks for joining us today. We have a lot to talk about. My husband is with me, Mr. Dennis Kelly. How's it feel to be back?
Feels great.
Doesn't
it? Too long. Took too long.
I tell you.
I missed it too much.
I know, and I did too. So here we are. And we're in our brand new studio as well. It's huge. It's wonderful. And we're excited because we have so much to share as far as what this last year and a half has been. Wondering, how is everybody coping? How do we get through all these different challenging months? And we're going to share that with you today. It's all from coming and doing everything from a state of love. And thanks to the HeartMath experience that we're going to share with you as well, it'll give you the same exact skill sets that we have been exhibiting in our home, with our friends, with our family. It works. It truly works. And of course, my husband has been with HeartMath since 1999, certified as a trainer.
It was 1992.
Was it 92?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, that far back.
That sure went
That's
fast.
when you started it. That's right, because I was looking at your certification today.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about this, to say the very least, because we have been through some challenges. We all have. My husband's been in and out of the hospital, was actually on death's door with kidney failure, right, back in April.
Right, yeah.
And just before that, I think, was when the last time we were here live. But because of our skill sets and our faith and everything that gets us through each day, he's back again. And we're back here again, and to share the HeartMath experience that you too will be able to experience as well. And what I know you learned by going to the mountains and learning what happens when you have that heart coherence. Can you just share what that was like? I know that was a long time ago, but I know that you walk your talk 100% of the time. I won't give my percentage, maybe 90-some%, right?
I'll give that to
And
you.
then I turn into a girl, all emotional, all that, right? So what was one of the first things that you learned at HeartMath?
Was how to handle stress.
Aha.
In other words, to become a stress master and be able to master stress so stress doesn't master you.
You know, that is a very good point. And have we all not been under massive, major stresses? We were fortunate getting through this last year and a half because we've been doing these skill sets for over 25 years. And I thought, okay, what are we going to talk about today? It's been a while. And some of you that have tuned into our shows in the past, you probably remember that we've talked about this on a regular basis because this is what we feel we can pass on to you, pay it forward. It costs nothing but an hour show, and our show is archived so that you can play it again, tell your friends about it. And if you pick up one tidbit from our show today, it's definitely worth it. It can change your life forever. And we're going to actually do a little example of what a heart lock-in is towards the end of the show. But the whole science behind this is massive because HeartMath Institute has done the science. What was that like for you when you were there in Boulder?
It changed my whole life because the key thing, you learn to live by the head or by the heart. And that's why they call it HeartMath, is because the energy, the answers, the whole process being successful with beginning to feel things and being able to change them to your direction rather than they changing you to your direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it was being able to be in control of your emotions. That's the key factor. Anybody that can control your emotions, they are very well sought after, because attitude in business and sports, it has to be good to be a winner.
There's a lot of truth to that, because you used the HeartMath concept to win 6 world titles in the martial arts. And believe me, I was there for a lot of those, and how my husband had to center and really focus so he didn't get hurt and different things like that. But competing in the martial arts or any athletic sport is no different than competing in the world today of life, living life to the best of our ability. And HeartMath gives that to us. And I'm glad the way you brought that out, because you don't want stress to master you. You want to master the stress. And at first, it didn't come up real easily, because I couldn't decide if I was thinking from my head or from my heart. Now, the one thing that stood out for me when you went to HeartMath and came back and shared all of this wonderful information that's actually validated and backed by science was when you said 5 minutes, excuse me, of an angry thought can put between 6 and 8 hours of bad cortisol, the bad chemicals inside your body, which results in stress, right?
Right.
So if we avoid that by learning how to live from the heart and making decisions from the heart, that can make all the difference in the world. It's changed both of our lives forever, even in the times of the worst stress, the pandemic, all of that. No worry, no fear. And that's what I love when you talk about HeartMath, when you do your seminars and your workshop and all of that, is because of the concept and everything validated. Now, there's something that did also stand out for me, was when you learned that the heart, our heart, has a brain and knows before the head does. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, the heart has the same crystallized cells that the brain has. The heart has more bioelectricity than the brain. The heart has a higher frequency, 5,000 revolutions in the frequency from the heart. You can measure the electrical energy from the heart up to 12 feet away. That's with devices. Now, can you imagine with nature, that's going on constantly. Like when you walk up to your car and you're about 100 feet from your car and you get the little button and the trunk opens or the door opens. There's energy out there. You can't see it, but people forget about that and they don't think about it. But when you really analyze it, it really makes a big difference by being able to be in control of those thoughts. And as far as stress is, when your life's expectations do not meet up with your results, then you fail to achieve the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the brain in the heart communicates with the brain in the head. And they also then, when that communication takes place, then in the Dantian, as the Chinese call it in the martial arts, it is in the abdominal section, there is a brain there too. It has over 100,000 neurons, the same that are in the brain, in the spinal column. So there you get a little bit of information. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to do. We want to chip away at it because sometimes you spend too much time on one thing.
Exactly. I'm glad that we're talking about this for right now, because we are going to give you an opportunity to actually have the HeartMath experience. We're also going to be talking about a couple of other things that we have been working on since last year in, I think it was Valentine's Day, with my husband having his certification for all those years since 1992, there was an offer to teach children. So I raised my hand, and I became licensed with HeartMath Institute. I'm very proud of that. Something that I've always wanted to do is to work with children. Wait till you see where this is leading us. It was called, excuse me, still called Heart Smart Kids Adventures. And I tested this very same concept that my husband and I have been living for all these years at a child's level. My grandson was 6 at the time. I was homeschooling because the schools were locked down, and that's life. I'm not a teacher, but I am a teacher, and I had to learn a lot about the digital technology. I'm going to drink some water while you talk a little bit more. I think it's just my dry throat today. It's really dry outside.
When someone uses the heart as a means of transporting thought and feelings, it's many times more powerful than the head. It's like when power versus force. What is the greatest? Is power stronger than force, or is force stronger than power?
Ooh, I like that.
And when you analyze, where does force come from? That comes from the brain. Force is something that's more reactive than responding. But if you really want to be a winner in life, learn to use power. Power is manifested amongst your surroundings, the people you know, the influence you have on them. And then power, of course, gets much better results because there's so much more to it. It's the responding to life's events rather than reacting. And that's why the heart knows what's going to happen before the brain gets the information. That's the amazing thing. I did research at HeartMath. That was the most bizarre research ever done when it comes to the brain and the heart. And they found out that the heart knows something right before it happens. With a nanosecond, the heart knows the future, so to speak. And nobody has been able to figure that out except we roll with it. Knowing that, we can affect people and things more by being able to be a step ahead of the individual. And of course, using it for good, not for bad.
Force for good. Boy, don't we need that in the world today. Thank you for that. And that, I'm going to get back to the kids program as well here. But the fact that you had mentioned that, it just reminded me of the, I forget what they called it, but they did testing. And you were hooked up to all kinds of wires and everything, and you were shown movies, right?
Right.
To prove that the heart knows before the brain, and it reacted on all this graphic detail.
Yeah, what they did, they brought a dozen or so people and hooked them up with EEG machines, the latest scientific equipment on measuring energy. And then what they did is they would flash up on a screen. They had 12 volunteers that were actually ready for this research. They were very open-minded. So what they did is they had a screen, and they flashed up on the screen something. It could either be a horrible event, to have a negative response, or it could be a positive event, having a positive response. So that went on, and they set the stage for one of the most bizarre researches. They expected to see what they wanted to accomplish was what travels faster, the heart or the brain. And when they went to do the research and put it up on a screen, an amazing thing happened. The heart knew what was going to be flashed up on the screen before the individual had the thought, within a nanosecond. But that nanosecond releases nitric oxide, the gas that has miracle results when taken properly.
Well, you know, that's interesting because when you learn these techniques, it's amazing how you start making decisions so differently when you make them from the heart. And that's why I was glad to start with kids. And so with the Heart Smart Kids Adventures, I launched this on Valentine's Day with my grandson. Now, mind you, a 6-year-old, a busy, intelligent 6-year-old, has the attention span of a gnat. And I thought, oh dear, what am I getting into here? But I knew we could do something. And if I could just get 5 minutes, 5 minutes, that's all I was hoping for. Well, guess what? This program lasted for 35 minutes with my grandson. I love telling this story because it worked. And what I was helping him learn about managing emotions and different things like that in school, out on the playground and all, it came back to me shortly after when I began doing the homeschooling, and I was getting a little bit frustrated because I'm not that digitally inclined, and everybody was crashing the system when we're all trying to homeschool our kids and grandkids, right? So JD turns to me and he says, Mimi, you need to manage your emotions a little more. Now, mind you, I wasn't bouncing off the walls, but he could feel my heart coherence and my frustration. So it worked. And what I love about this is this year we had the opportunity, you and I both, to work with kids at a brand new homeschool program called Elemental Seasons. And we're teaching our Tiger Super Kids. We're teaching the Animal Frolics with my husband's program of Tai Chi and Qigong. And then we're also helping them to learn how to manage emotions through the Heart Smart Kids Adventures. Here's our Facebook page. You can go to Elemental Seasons for your kids and our future, and it's exactly about all of that. And you're going to see and hear more about this school because it is homeschooling, but it's out and about among nature at a park. Wasn't that park lovely last week?
It really was. The energy there was fantastic.
Yeah.
We had a small group, but they really enjoyed it.
They did.
All ages.
They did.
All nationalities and things like that. There is no such a thing as prejudice or worry that you're not going to be able to perform.
That's
because
right.
it's just letting your hair down, and it's amazing how those kids, they gravitated to it quickly.
They did. They really did. So we have that a lot to do with the kids, which we're really, really excited. And that's another reason why we're excited to be back here for you guys to pick up where we left off, right?
Right.
There's no giving up here. No, we just don't ever give up. So what I would like to do is go ahead and toss to a quick trailer on the HeartMath experience, and I will let you know that it is still offered to you all through the pandemic and everything. HeartMath was really kind enough to offer this to the public. So I want you to just take a look at the trailer, which gives you additional overview on what HeartMath is all about. And we'll be right back after this.
Can you hear me? Can you feel me? This is a story about your life and about new ways to see that we are all connected.
Just like electricity changed the outer world, heart's going to change the inner world.
We can take charge of how we feel more than we may think.
It allows me to be present, centered, and focused.
I just find that deeper place in myself where I can feel that sense of love.
And as more people come together, it's going to draw in a whole new awareness.
But the heart really is an access point to our larger self that can bring in that intelligence of another dimension. So now we're starting to have a scientific understanding that these higher quality emotions that people have always associated with the heart really do affect the way the heart beats and the quality of the neural signals being sent to the brain, which it then interprets.
Heart and brain are in constant communication. The heart is doing most of the talking. Let's do an exercise now to get a better sense of how you're experiencing emotions that renew or drain you.
Okay, I'd like you to think of a specific situation that you feel has been difficult to solve these past few days.
In this experience, through learning simple techniques, seeing real-life examples, and hearing from experts and others, you will have the opportunity to experience your heart's intelligence and how it can help you, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You'll see how you can connect with your heart in practical ways to reduce the stress of daily life, meet challenges with more ease, and become more of who you truly are.
You'll learn to listen to and follow the magnificent intuitive presence of your heart.
It's heart time on the planet.
So I hope you like that and you check into it. All you have to do is go to the HeartMath Experience, give them your email, and they will email you all the chapters. I think there's up to 9 of them. I have mine all printed out in perfect little harmony with one another. It's 8 chapters. 8 chapters. And I'm going to just talk a little bit about these. Here's where you can actually access it. Thanks, Rob, for putting that up. You can read a little bit more from it and just see how you can unlock your heart's intuitive intelligence, also known as emotional intelligence. We need more and more of that today so that we can make those exceptional decisions in life, making the right choices when you come from the heart. And if you recall, when you were teaching me how to do that, I thought, oh, is it my head? Is it my heart? Is it my head? Is it my heart? Now, I have truly mastered that, and my heart gives me every answer I need, and I don't think I ever go back to making a head decision, even on the spot.
It gets to be a habit. It implants in the subconscious mind, so I don't even have to freeze frame, so to speak.
Right.
And try. It comes automatic.
It does
so
come.
So it's meditation in motion.
It
The difference
is.
between meditation and HeartMath challenges, overcoming challenges, is just a little thin sliver of energy, the difference.
Yes, yes.
And that little sliver of energy could light up all the oceans if they could take the hydrogen atoms, the electrical energy from the hydrogen atoms, it'd light up the whole North American continent.
That is so
Just a little
true.
square of this substance called energy.
I know. It's so fascinating, and when you see it validated by science, I'm going to just go through these chapters just to let you know what some of them are about. We have every single book just about that I can think of from HeartMath. And what they've done is they've condensed everything into this program for everybody to get a feel for it and to see that you can learn how to make better decisions, learn how to manage your emotions. I'm talking about not just for kids, adults too. Turn on the news, any channel, and you'll see how well or not so well people are managing their emotions. I mean that.
The
with
good,
all
the
due
bad, and the
respect.
ugly.
That's so true. So some of these chapters are basically the intelligent heart. You're going to learn the intelligence that my husband was just talking about, having a brain in the heart. It sounds bizarre, but it's true. It's based on science. Also, you're going to be learning, because it is heart time on the planet, you'll learn an inner beingness and a presence and a meditation and the heart lock-in, which is absolutely fabulous. And we're going to do that before we close this hour today, which, by the way, we're on episode 198.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, how about that?
Something I want to share with everyone is when I was fighting in the ring in full contact point karate, my advantage over my opponent, and part of the time it worked and sometimes it didn't, but most of the time it did, is where I would actually know what my opponent was going to do before they did it.
You've said that many times.
Split second, but when you're really fine-tuned as an athlete, and when you have positive energy about you by the way you think, the way you act, it has rewards that are insurmountable. If you want to develop a skill by applying these situations through HeartMath, you have not only the skill of what helps you immediately, but you have the skill that will help you in the future.
Exactly.
And you forget about the past. The past only gives you a chance to know where you stand. But too many people live in the past. But being with HeartMath, you can ride the wave of beautiful energy, and it's not difficult to do. It just takes a little bit of patience.
And for some, a lot of patience. But once you get this down pat, it's just amazing the decisions that you'll be able to make. So much better choice. What you just said about the energy, here's another chapter, The Science of the Heart. Here's a paragraph. The heart is an electrical organ, talking about what you were just referring to. The heart is an electrical organ producing by far the strongest source of rhythmic bioelectricity. This energy goes to every cell in your body. Your heart produces enough electrical energy that it creates an electromagnetic field surrounding your body 360 degrees, extending beyond the skin out into space, measuring up to around 3 feet directly outside your body. So that's pretty powerful, and if you want to know more about that and really expand that knowledge, get the HeartMath experience. And I think it's still offered at no cost to everyone today. Also, we have more science of the heart, quick coherence, how you can actually restore the balance and flow just by doing this one exercise. And we're going to be doing that in a moment. You can print out these PDFs on heart-focused breathing, the positive renewing feeling that you will get from this. The emotional world is another chapter. Attitude breathing, oh my goodness, that's a good one too. And accessing more intuition. Because, excuse me, another one, chapter 7 is the freeze frame, and that's a technique. We actually sold that program on HSN when I was hosting there. And then social coherence. Oh my goodness, when you see that, that is amazing. And then, of course, the Intelligent Heart shows this technique called Heart Lock-In, which we have done with all of our students, our Tai Chi classes and all. And it makes a difference because when someone's in your face or you're driving on US 19 and people are giving you rude signs because maybe you made an honest mistake or whatever, you can access this information at the drop of a pin, immediately, right there and now, right?
That's right.
And that's what makes a difference, is when we have something that we can access, the knowledge and understand how it works, where we can manage our emotions at any given moment, which also helps to reduce the stress in your body, which is the #1 cause for what? Dis-ease and many times premature death. This is the key. This is the answer right here. The HeartMath experience, and we swear by this day in, day out. But I also wanted to have you, before we close the show, we're right about the half hour. But let's go ahead and do one of the exercises that is the quickest on the spot that you will learn from us. You tune into us on Mondays. We're always going to give you something that is a great takeaway for more emotional intelligence, for personal growth and development, and just to be a better, well-rounded person in alignment with yourself, your God, your universe, all of that. Wow, that just rolled right off my tongue, didn't it?
All that in one breath.
I know, without coughing. So, would you like to do that? A little heart lock-in?
You talking
or a little
about
freeze
a heart
frame?
lock-on or a heart freeze?
Whatever, the freeze frame, that's what we sold on HSN.
That's right.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, freeze framing means you change the meaning of something to your advantage. And it takes a little bit of practice, but with practice, it's amazing what you can do when it comes to handling stress. We reach a state of imperturbability. There's a beautiful book written by Anna Weiss, The High Performance Mind. And her concept is we can at will reach that state of consciousness that is most beneficial and good for the presence, and being able to turn it into something that's doable as far as being able to access our heart, the energy in our heart, and utilize it to help our brain figure something out. The brain gets the information, the heart makes the decisions. Once you learn how to do that, it makes a big difference. Now, to do a heart lock-in, what you'll do now, in a heart lock-in, what you do is when something happens in a stressful situation, you push the pause button. In other words, it's like pushing the pause button. You take a time out. You sit in a comfortable position, and the next step is be able to breathe from your heart, like you were breathing through the heart. Put your attention in the heart, at the heart area. Then the next part is finding a time in your life, in your mind, that when you think about it, makes you feel really good. In other words, go back in time when you were a kid or a young adult, doesn't matter, and a time that when you think about it, it really makes you feel good, makes you laugh or whatever. So that's important, to be able to recognize the power of doing that. Then what you do is, after you do that process, which is very quick, you push the pause button, you take and go to a time in your life that was very, very wonderful, And then once you accomplish that, then take in your heart and send some love out to someone. Doesn't matter who, could be an animal, could be somebody that's not here on earth anymore. But the key thing is you send that love and picture that person receiving that love. Picture them smiling. You're sitting there, you're sending that information out. They feel something. They don't know what it is. And this is documented scientific proof. So what happens then, you send the love out to that person. That person then is got a feeling of, in some cases, even euphoria, or just a little feeling of feeling good. And then you do this every day a little bit. It also helps you, the person that is doing the process, not just the person you send it to, but it helps yourself because of the fact of the range of electrical energy that allows you to be able to do things that most people have never even heard of.
Thank you for that. There's so much knowledge in this, and while you were doing that, I was also thinking about if you've ever been in the company of others, or you've been maybe at an event, maybe somebody walks into a room, and you maybe don't feel real comfortable. It's the energy that they're bringing with them, right?
Right.
A lower frequency. On the other hand, what if somebody walks into the room and they're like a magnet? They're full of energy, full of happiness, full of joy, and you just want to be around that person. You gravitate towards them. It's their higher frequency, is it not?
Right, absolutely. Thoughts are things. When you realize that thoughts are things, so what you think about, you create. You believe, or I should say, what you think about, you dream about, it really makes a big difference over a period of time. What you just keep saying to yourself throughout the day, occasionally, what you think about, you bring about.
So true.
Thoughts are things. And the things that you can do with your thoughts are just amazing. Einstein said the strongest force in the universe is not E equals mc squared. The strongest force in the universe is the force of imagination. Your imagination is what really makes the big difference. It enables me with Parkinson's disease to be able to get through a day because I can imagine myself feeling good along with the supplements I take and the exercises. And that makes a big difference because without that, I would just succumb to the disease and eventually give up. And that there's no reason to do that.
There's no such thing. Never give up.
There is no such thing in our life, at home, abroad, and so on. Never give up.
That is so
true. That's a very
true.
famous saying by Roosevelt.
Yep.
President Roosevelt.
By many, many powerful people. Speaking about power, we have our favorite four-letter word right behind us. And that is the main purpose of getting into that heart coherence. If you have a hard time doing that at first, what I want you to do is just come from love. Once you learn this technique, you come from love, you think about people you love, your husband, your pet, your mom, your grandpa, whoever it is that's really important to you, and that will bring you into a higher frequency, which will allow you to make better decisions, to make better choices, because isn't love the most powerful frequency in the whole world? And you can't have two opposing thoughts at the same time, like love and fear.
Right, so you can choose what you want, love or fear.
Yeah.
You can choose to be happy or be unhappy. You know, they're not fussy who they choose to make feel better. That energy, that source that you have in your brain. And by being able to be in control of your thoughts, most people are not. They make choices that they don't really analyze. They don't really realize that I got a heart that gives me better answers than my head. The head feeds the heart gets the information, they send it to the gut sends it back up to the heart, that sends it back to the brain, and it sounds bizarre, but believe me, I won 7 world titles fighting in an age that most men have given up, and I was the oldest person to do that. The only reason I could do that is I had the edge, I had how would I say?
You had the edge.
I had the knowledge to be able to use what is so powerful is power.
Yes,
through
yes.
electrical energy caused by the thoughts and the feelings that we project. And as bizarre as that may seem, the more you do it, the more you believe in it. In one angry thought, as Barb said, will lower your immune system, your IgA level, which is your first line of immune defense, for up to 7 to 8 hours. One angry thought. So the key is you got 2 minutes to change that into a caring, loving thought. That's called freeze framing. And you change that thought into a caring, loving thought. It could be a time on the beach, you and your husband or boyfriend or girlfriend or even yourself just saw the beautiful sunrise and then sunset. And that type of thing is what really generates the positive energy.
You know, I am so excited about where we are today and so thankful, which also changes that whole frequency. And we're no different than anybody else. We're no different than you. You think we haven't had a moment of despair or a moment of crisis? We have. And we've taken these exact skill sets to put them into play so that we can keep moving forward and paying it forward. You mentioned about all of what we've learned, which, oh my goodness, it would take another 200 episodes for us to cover it. But this also leads into the kids program, the Heart Smart Adventures for Kids, which I'm so excited about. And that, too, you can actually print up in PDFs. And in these adventures, it's an e-learning program for kids ages 4 to 6 and up. They learn about the physical heart, healthy heart habits, and investigations of their emotions. They do their own research on investigating their emotions. So we have little cartoons with, the I Spy with the magnifying glass, and they're looking at themselves. It's wonderful. Getting unstuck and sending love and care. I am so thrilled about this. They have a wide range of engaging learning activities, my adventure map, and it's all based on an earlier evidence-based program. And this is what I became licensed with and actually tested out on my grandson, and I'm so thrilled that we were able to do this. We are living our dream right now. Yeah, even after the pandemic and during the pandemic. I remember, gosh, back in 1996, laying around your pool, you were writing your book, The 6 Steps to the Fountain of Youth. We hardly have any of these left, but HeartMath Institute is also in this book. And I was laying around the pool thinking about writing the story, my book called The Dragon, a kid's book.
I think the kids would love that.
Well, I said at that time, it just came to me. It came to my heart. We must get to the children. Doesn't matter when, but it's a matter of getting it done. So that's where we're at right now. We've stepped into the dream. We're going to make this happen, which is also happening at Elemental Seasons. And I want to go ahead and put up that Facebook page so that you can go on there and read what it's about. We have a little blurb on there on what we're doing with teaching our tiger kids and teaching them how to live from the heart at kids level. And they get it and they love it. You should see them doing the exercises. I think we have some pictures on the Facebook page, and you can post there. You can find more information, and we're going to have the founders. Chrysula Gauze, she's one of our Tai Chi instructors. We're going to have Helena come on. She's doing our social media, and possibly Bonnie and Ruthie and anybody else that joins in this mission, because it's working. After one class, the first class, it already worked, didn't it?
Well, you know, right. The thing that was difficult to teach kids to meditate is they won't sit still long enough. So there was a challenge there. How would it get to the kids so that they can enjoy meditation just like the adults can enjoy it? What we found out is by teaching them Qigong with slow movements, they're doing meditation in motion. They're moving. We break them down into like animals that do funny things, movements and so on. So we have a lot of fun with it. They love meditating in emotion, and it's much more powerful because you're working the physical, the mental, and emotional part of the body and person.
And I love that. It's called the Animal Frolics. I love using animals to communicate with kids, because there's nothing like the natural beauty of animals, the fierceness of the tiger, the strength of the tiger, and yet the tiger is so mellow and so smooth and so soft moving. And so they can relate on how to let some of their emotions go, how to step back and relax at a child's level. And we're just so excited about it. And every Thursday we go down to Largo and we're outdoors. We get rained out. We go under the shelter, put our masks on, and we get through it.
Well, the first movement that I taught them, you got quite a good response.
Yeah.
Was a lion standing up against a tree with his claws scraping the bark and leaving a mark. That's their territory. So when they do that, what was fun with the kids, okay, now everybody ready? Let's scratch the tree.
And growl. They love that.
They would growl. Then I would have them come up and have what one of you kids would like to teach that to the group, that movement. Oh, I would. You'd be surprised how many want to do it. So we get them up there, and they're participating. They're in control. They're meditating. They're having fun. They're putting good hormones in their body. So that's one of the things that I think that I've been more successful with in teaching kids is get them to participate in the process.
Yeah, that's true. We call them our tiger super kids. And boy,
super
they
kids.
are
They're not normal
super
kids. They're super kids. I'm a super kid.
We were all born super kids, really, super babies and all of that. We're just bringing the best out. Well, we are down to the last quarter of our show.
This is the fastest time I ever experienced.
I know. Well, it's been a while since we've been on, and we're going to be back on every Monday. But in the meantime, I'd like to go ahead and show you the HeartMath Experience trailer so that in case you're tuning in a little bit later on in the hour, you make sure that you have this at your fingertips, and then at the end we'll show you how you can enroll and actually start to learn what we're learning. And it's all been really drilled down to where there's bullet points, and it gives you a lot of information that you can absorb and start practicing in your own life. So when you're ready, we're ready there, Rob. We'll go ahead and toss over to that, and we'll be right back.
Can you hear me? Can you feel me? This is a story about your life and about new ways to see that we are all connected.
Just like electricity changed the outer world, heart's going to change the inner world.
We can take charge of how we feel more than we may think.
It allows me to be present, centered, and focused.
I just find that deeper place in myself where I can feel that sense of love.
And as more people come together, it's going to draw in a whole new awareness.
But the heart really is an access point to our larger self that can bring in that intelligence of another dimension. So now we're starting to have a scientific understanding that these higher quality emotions that people have always associated with the heart really do affect the way the heart beats and the quality of the neural signals being sent to the brain, which it then interprets.
Heart and brain are in constant communication. The heart is doing most of the talking. Let's do an exercise now to get a better sense of how you're experiencing emotions that renew or drain you.
Okay, I'd like you to think of a specific situation that you feel has been difficult to solve these past few days.
In this experience, through learning simple techniques, seeing real-life examples, and hearing from experts and others, you will have the opportunity to experience your heart's intelligence and how it can help you, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You'll see how you can connect with your heart in practical ways to reduce the stress of daily life, meet challenges with more ease, and become more of who you truly are.
You'll learn to listen to and follow the magnificent intuitive presence of your heart.
It's heart time on the planet.
And there you have the trailer for the HeartMath Experience. It's always heart time on the planet. Once you learn this experience, you will never be the same. This will change your life forever as it has ours. It gives us that chance to really walk our walk, walk our talk, and do all of that and pay it forward to others. And if you learn one little tidbit from our shows, then we know we've been successful here. We've been doing our show now for what, going on 7 or 8 years? This is episode 198. I'm impressed.
Doesn't seem possible.
We lasted that long. How about that?
How about they didn't bring the hook?
No, they didn't.
You know, the hook is you hook them and drag them off the stage because they're really not doing too well.
Right. Well, we have a lot of validation in the information that we share with you guys because that's just how we do things. We research the researchers. If you were to come to our humble villa, you would see walls lined with books where we learn from the masters, and we become the masters in our own right with so many different things that we've learned that we know that works. And, I mean, we've not had a perfect life experience, for heaven's sakes. And, you know, with broken families and crisis and, you know, health challenges and all of that, we really learned during this pandemic and the lockdowns. We learned so much about each other that we kind of validated. We just knew we were doing the right thing. We had these skill sets in place. So maybe today might be the game changer for you watching our show, watching this particular episode, and maybe change your life when crisis comes. And it will come. We're living in a crazy upside-down world. And something that I didn't mention, which is really strong for me, is perception. Once you understand perception, that perception can mean two completely different opposite things. And my husband taught me that. Perception is everything. And what you think about, you bring about. When you wake up in the morning, you can decide whether or not you see something that maybe didn't make you too happy and you decide, well, that's how my day's going to go, right? Or you can see something that happened that didn't make you happy and you can change that in and of the moment, right then and there. Is that right?
You can change it immediately. The key thing is 2 minutes. Give yourself 2 minutes to replace that with a caring, loving thought. If it was not a good thought, give yourself 2 minutes. As long as you don't go past 5, you're in deep going past 5, you're in deep trouble then over a period of time, because that's like acid dripping in the system every day, a little bit. Some people, it's also called gunny sacking. They keep that same negative thought, could be a relationship thought, could be thought about how you lost this, lost that. Those are all negative things. You change it with things that are positive, that will be healing, that will beneficial you and everyone you come in contact with. The best gift you can give your relatives, your friends, and your loved ones are the gift of love and the gift of being able to be part of that changing of the process.
You know, we just talked about that recently because we were preparing ourselves, which doesn't take much to do our show because we live and eat and breathe these concepts. And when you stop to think about what has happened over the last couple of years and what may be happening in the future in the United States and worldwide, when you love someone, truly, deeply, unconditionally love someone, and they truly, deeply, unconditionally love you back, that is the best gift you can ever experience. And I happen to be one of those people, and so is my husband. And it takes time to build that and know that, and you're going to be tested. And either you're going to make the choice to pass the test or you're not. It all comes right to choices and perception and what's important to us. You know, we don't have a big old fancy house. We did, but we're happy in our humble villa. We're just happy there. And what got us through my husband's surgeries and challenges and still challenged with the Parkinson's. Believe me, I didn't sign up for that. I'm not a happy fan about that either. But guess what? I've got so much left in my husband, aside from a Parkinson's disease, that he's in the process of overcoming. From knowledge, from power, from the belief, and the love that we share between us. We're always researching. What can we do about this? What can we do about that? We have a whole practically huge advisory board of people that are in our court that are there for us. And so we bring all this knowledge to our show on prime time in hopes that it makes a difference in your life. We're easily accessible. We're on Facebook, Barbara Marville-Kelly.com. And also my husband is Dennis-Kelly.com. And he's on Facebook as well. A number of pages, from your Tai Chi Qigong pages to your coaching and all of that. So you can find us. Our phone numbers are out there. You can always contact us, and you'll be able to, maybe get a little consultation. We're probably going to start doing some of the good old-fashioned Zoom calls right from our villa, in addition to our shows here. And we may even do a Tai Chi class or two right here in the studio. We have so much room, and we're very excited about that. But to sort of recap this hour, we are sharing with you our skill sets known as HeartMath, the HeartMath Experience. And if you go to the HeartMath Experience, you'll be able to get that trailer up and then sign in. Just put your email, your first and last name, and you're good to go. And they'll send you this information. I mean, it's not all the information that we have. I mean, book after book, training after training, license after license. But it gives you the overview that you need. And then we also have the Heart Smart Adventures for Kids, and I put this out in 2020 on Valentine's Day when I tested this out with my grandson. I will be teaching that along with my husband. And then, of course, I want you to remember our elemental seasons, Earth School, where kids are grounded. You're going to be able to see that our tiger animal frolics that we will be teaching. You're also going to be able to learn, the kids will be able to do little science projects. They'll be able to learn what herbs can be alternatives in helping to support your healthy system and your immune system. And before we close out this show, I also wanted to mention, again, that we touched on right about the half hour here. The most powerful emotion you can feel anytime, if you choose to feel it, is love. It's love. And you can't have two opposing thoughts. You can't have love and fear. And of course, fear, my acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. Believe me, I bought into that too. Especially in this pandemic. Who knows who's on first? Does anybody know anything that we can actually count on? Believe me, I've been there. But my faith got me through it, and my love for my family. And it just works. It just works. And if you've ever watched any of our shows, if you ever shopped with me on the Home Shopping Network, you know that we're the real deal. What you see is what you get. We're just like this behind the scenes, aren't we, Champ?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got just a few minutes remaining, and you can see here is that word. How many love songs have been written based on this powerful emotion that will change your life forever? Think about it. Think about who you love right now. What does that make you feel like? It can change everything, I promise. And I don't make too many promises, but that I will promise. We have just over 3 minutes. What do you have to say, my love?
Well, I think that we've covered quite a bit of territory, just sort of like a review of what we've been covering. There's like 4 laws. The law of attraction is a very important law because we are in that law every day, whether you know it or not. You're attracting things that you think about, you bring about. Then once you understand that, then you can go into the law of deliberate creation. What I think about, I bring about. Then I want to think about this or that. I want to think about me getting into this brand new car, or moving into a better home. And if you keep that feeling, that thought, and you make it emotional, then this will come to pass. It will be a fact, not a fiction. And then the third law is the law of allowing other people to be the way they want to be, even though they don't want you to be the way you want to be. When you get to where you try to change people, it's a dead end. You cannot change anyone. Sometimes it's funny how people will get married and they'll marry someone because of this certain personality they have. Then once they get married, after a period of time, you don't want that personality anymore. So the law of allowing is important. Allow the person to be themselves. Don't ever try to change someone.
You know, there's a lot of truth to that. And I don't think we've changed our personalities that we fell in love with each other. After all these years, we get to celebrate our 21st anniversary. Can you believe that?
It's hard to believe the time goes by so fast. When you're having fun, time goes by fine.
It's
and
so
fast.
true.
Fast,
It's true.
furious, and fine.
And when you say what you think about, you bring about, that is the long and the short of it. It is very, very true. Just by thinking about it and you're able to manifest it, especially if you can get in that creative mode of thinking and doing, we have manifested. Oh, and the other thing is, do a vision board. Do a vision board, because when I did my individual vision board a few years ago, do you know what was smack dab right in the center of my vision board? A headshot of myself in the center of a TV screen, because I wanted us to have our own show. Voila! Here we are. Here we are. That was on my vision board, the first thing. And then I got the phone call from John with WeBeam TV going, I've got the perfect thing for you. And here we are, almost 8 years later, 198 episodes. This is exciting, very exciting. I also wanted to promote real quickly, next week is going to be Women Unscripted. You don't want to miss that show. Same time, 2 o'clock, we're in our new studio. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I just want to say thank you so much for your vote of confidence in tuning into our shows. Feel free to repost. I will be putting this up on Facebook so that if you want to share it with someone, you can. You can learn about our lifestyle exactly to the T. This right here, the HeartMath Experience, is our exact program. It's all validated by science and the HeartMath Institute. Howard Martin is going to be coming on our show, and he was in the little video clip. So until then, love one another, be happy, and know that the miracle can change your life. Love you all. God bless. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening. We love you too. Bye-bye now.